Hello, my name is Laura Walker, and I'm the City of Savannah Water Resources Environmental Manager. And today I'm going to tell you a little bit about our latest initiative to reduce flooding and fecal coliform pollution in the Vernon River watershed. I'm going to share my screen now. So our initiative is called Savannah Rainproof. It was inspired by the 2019 Dutch dialogues in the city of Charleston. I'm going to get you acclimated with the little map here over to the left. Um, as you can see, you have downtown Savannah up to the top of that photograph or to the north, and the Savannah River. Only a small portion of Savannah actually drains to the Savannah River. Most of it drains toward the Ogeechee River. And about 40% of all the city drains through the Casey Canal. You have it in front of you as Casey North and Casey South. The Casey Canal flows into the headwaters of the Vernon River, also known as Hayner's Creek. The watershed is parceled out into three jurisdictions. You have the city of Savannah, which is mostly to the west or to the left of the map photograph. And then you have Chatham County, and the town of Vernonburg lies in the center there. A team from these local governments have been working on water quality issues in the Vernon River watershed for almost 17 years at a cost in excess of $20 million. So, in the beginning of our effort, infrastructure projects and policy adoptions resulted in some really nice, measurable decreases. But since then, water quality improvements have just stagnated. It's because it's such a large watershed and the level of funding that we have available compared to the size and all the existing development, it just makes things really complicated. We have had help in our projects from FEMA, Georgia EPD, and Georgia DNR. So we've done a TMDL implementation plan and a watershed plan that was funded with a 319 grant from Georgia EPD. And then most recently, we were awarded a coastal incentive grant back in 2018 or around 19 to design green infrastructure in Habersham Village. And Habersham Village is blown up for you on the photograph to the right. It's divided up into a couple of projects that we're going to talk more about this one right here. But as you can see, this was the main focus area for projects 1 and project 2 for the green infrastructure design. So this is kind of where our story begins. The latest initiative, again, is called Savannah Rainproof. And it's one of those stories where everything kind of falls in your lap, falls into place. The writing's on the wall, and all you have to do is hang on to your hat and just let it go. So, literally, so many things happened in 2019. So, first, we received a 319 grant. It would have been our third one in the past 17 years to actually go and install some of that green infrastructure that we had just designed with the Coastal Incentive Grant. It was going to be in Habersham Village. And the developer and owner of the village was very, very supportive of the plan. Mostly not for its benefits to flooding, but for its beautification aspects. You know, green infrastructure, there's a really strong case for the beautification aspects of it. So as you can see in the video, this area has not 1 ounce of charm, and it goes against every smart urban planning concept out there, but it is crazy popular because of the surrounding neighborhood and the mix of solid businesses that are here. It's completely asphalt and rooftops, and floods routinely, as you can see in the photos. But a couple of things occurred, or a couple of things came to fruition when we started planning initially where we were going to spend the 319 grant dollars. And that was the fact then the next couple of years, the city was going to be doing a $25 million gray infrastructure upgrade right down the middle of the commercial village. Also, realistically, when we started looking at some of the numbers to do what we wanted to do, like in the parking lots with bioretention and tree planting and all of that, it became very, aware. We all started to see the writing on the wall that it was going to be too much money. And so we laid our eyes a little to the east of the commercial district toward Jacob G. Smith and Lamara Drive, which were also in our green infrastructure design project. So this is an aerial of the school and Lamar Drive. So Habersham Village is all right here. That's the parking lot that you were seeing in those videos. So it's all in the same area. So Lamar Drive floods on a regular basis. It's a low point in here. You have the neighborhoods here and back in here that kind of fill up the stormwater infrastructure and just starts to back into the school lawn and even into some of the buildings. And as Principal Cole says, it's a safety hazard because why? The rain always pours when school is letting out. So the school buses have to drive up onto the school lawn to load, and this puts them in the middle of kids that are coming out to just walk or ride their bikes home, or their parents are meeting them to walk them home, all in the same area. As you can see here in the lower photograph, our public works maintenance gentleman for the school is pointing out where the water flows on a regular basis, and it's way past the sign. So this lawn is just a hub of action when it starts to flood. So $319 in hand. We have a project idea and site. The second thing that happened in 2019 was that the Ogeechee River Keeper became very interested in our Vernon River project, just the overall effort that we had been doing for a long time. So, I'm not sure if it was new board members that had a monetary influence with this new enthusiasm, but it was really welcome. And it has brought a new energy to our team. It's broadened our team to include some game changers that actually live in that watershed. A couple of them are members of a Rotary Club. They call themselves the Savannah Downtown Rotary Club, and their tag is, "This isn't your grandfather's Rotary Club." So they are kind of a breath of fresh air and energy into our efforts. The third thing that happened in 2019 was that our former mayor, Mayor Deloach, attended the Dutch Dialogues event in Charleston. That was in 2019. But the Dutch Dialogues, I believe, came first to the United States, New Orleans in 2014. And they've been other places in the United States to help cities that are struggling with water management. So the whole concept is to find ways to live with water by integrating stormwater and landscape design into your community development. And so I read some of the summary of Charleston's plan and really started to appreciate this whole concept that the Dutch have a philosophy for. After all, after 800 years of living on the water's edge, they can certainly call themselves experts in water adaptation. So their concept is that flooding can't be fixed. There's always going to be flooding, but what you can do is reduce your risk. And so the approach combines integrated planning with urban landscape design, and they get together, city professionals, academic and community leaders in planning, stormwater management folks, resiliency folks, and bring them all together to collectively work on water management. And so this whole concept of living with water and the future of that offers kind of a new way of thinking about water, land, and people, and how there are multiple benefits for the near and long terms. So rainproofing, a lot of rainproofing that I saw immediately that City of Savannah could glean from has to do with their rain harvesting concepts. And so it's pulling together, the landscape and stormwater um, design into a train so that you can maximize treatment. Also, when you do the train concept and you have multiple rain harvesting elements, it automatically becomes scalable to fit most residential properties. And Savannah just has a wide array of residential properties due to it's an older city. So rain barrels and cisterns are used to capture and store the rainwater from the rooftop, and this reduces the amount that would enter our storm drains. Rain gardens are landscape depressions that you plant with water loving plants, and rain gardens and rain barrels pair well in that treatment train approach. Why it all matters is because rain barrels, cisterns, and rain gardens catch rainwater and provide a disconnect from a hard surface to the city's drainage infrastructure. It allows nature to work for us, cleaning up the water by putting it directly in contact with plants and soil instead of gray infrastructure. And when rain hits the plants and the soil, then the community gains because it reduces runoff, it improves water quality, and just overall, it just lessens the stress of our older and undersized drainage infrastructure. So we had three wonderful things that fell into place in 2019. And so the plan for Savannah Rainproof was to finish the 319 project at the school site and kind of unveil it all. But 2020 threw us a curveball, and we are just now kind of back on track to hopefully make some really good headway with installation of the cistern and rain gardens here in the spring of 2021, and do the pavers while school's out in the summer of 2021. So yeah, the school will have 4 rain gardens, and the most visible one will be actually a demonstration. The other 3 are going to be just turf, and that was totally a maintenance call. The public works or the maintenance folks for the school board, it's a mow and blow operation. So we compromised on having one fabulous landscaped rain garden. The other 3 will be turf. So pavers on Lamara Drive, 4 rain gardens and a cistern. The cistern will be located directly behind what's pointed on the snap as roof 3, and that's so that it can irrigate this lawn and landscape area of the school grounds that doesn't get any water right now other than rain. In addition to all of this, we have 30 rain barrels that will be distributed to the neighborhoods, homes around the school. And with all the press and excitement of Rainproof, it's going to flow out into the community from this project in this way. So we'll have a residential and commercial element of Rainproof, and the residential element will be, for number 1, is free rain barrels. So they're going to be eligible to all of our water customers. And in essence, this puts a little water conservation spin into our rainproofing. The whole rain barrel program is fashioned after our water saving toilet voucher program that we've had in place for over, probably about 17, 18 years. The requirements are that you have to be a City of Savannah water customer and you have to complete a home water audit. Now, the home water audit is about a 10 to 15-day process where households calculate their indoor and outdoor water consumption. So every day, a customer will lay eyes on their meter, and most of them take a picture and send it to me. Um, so staff converts the meter reading of 100 cubic feet into gallons per person for that 24 hours. And the customer and staff have a connection every day to convey information. And I've been doing this for 3 years. For folks that just don't understand why their water bills are so high. And so I know that this method leaves a very, for the most part, a very positive and valuable lasting impression. So they learn to read their meter. Well, they know where their meter is, number one. Then they learn how to read it. They learn how to do the calculations, and they start to understand the water consumption in their home, both indoor and out, as we separate the two during the audit. So for the rain barrels, we have partners on board to assist folks with rain barrel installation if needed. Honestly, I find that folks that want these rain barrels, they have done their research and they have a plan and they're mostly good to go. But just in case, we do have some experts that can help them with installation. Then on the other side of the residential program, in addition to the rain barrels, we will have a rain garden element. And this is going to be promoted through a garden tour of homes, or actually a tour of homes that's going to include gardens. And Savannah has two very large ones. One's our downtown historic district tour of homes, and the other is a midtown historic district tour of homes. And so the rain gardens and rain harvesting systems, I should say, will be promoted in a special tour with both of these. It was supposed to be in spring of 2020, but the tour was postponed to fall of 2020, and now again postponed to the fall of 2021. It's going to showcase rain harvesting systems with home drains tied to ponds and rain barrels tied to landscaped areas and food gardens. And for the rain garden side, we have partners on board who will help with assistance for the design aspects of a rain garden, but will also initially and very importantly help with the soil perk test. So wherever the property owner wants to put the rain garden, we need to make sure that that is the proper place and do perk tests to make sure we're getting good drainage in 24, maximum 48 hours. For this assistance, though, the property owner has to have an agreement with us that they will allow their garden to be showcased on our public map and a video photo inventory. For the commercial side of Rainproof, this is probably my favorite side of it because it's art-inspired stormwater harvesting. I really had a hard time finding pictures out there to convey or show what I was trying to get across. We have many grants in place that will help with design, and we have connections with skilled craftsmen who can help create and install these stormwater harvesting systems. You know, Savannah is a extremely creative community. The purpose of this is to have a design that helps convey the connection with rain and land to the water. And even though we live in a community that's surrounded by water, far too many people don't realize that connection. And so the first two pictures really, I think, best describe what the idea is here for. You need to look at that, and I think anyone can look at those two photos and realize, well, hey, there's a connection to a nearby waterway, or there's a connection to the ocean. I think that salmon in the first picture going back up the drain, and a loggerhead turtles in the second picture. That's certainly very applicable here to Savannah. But really, I think I love most about this is that art, that originality, and the creativity that can come about into this. And I think, honestly, I think that the first two might be a little tricky, but once we get the process down, and once we unveil it, I think it's going to catch on and be something really terrific. So, art rather than words can be a very effective and fun way to relay this important message of the connection with the land to the water when it rains. And this is a list of all of our partners in this endeavor. And I believe these projects, if done properly, will really have a positive influence on the public's appreciation and understanding of rain as a valued resource. And as the Dutch say, it will help us along our goal to living with water. So thank you for your time, and I look forward to your questions.